Now, I wanted to go over some of the chopping up questions because we definitely want to keep this in a decent, time frame here. As we do with chopping it up, we actually try to give grades for different points of what's going on. And Colin, you want to do the first one?
Yes. All right. So, chopping it up questions for today.
First one.
The first one is, drum roll, please. Best and worst council person on the city council and why? And everyone.
Ooh,
and David came up with this one. Okay, so don't blame me. All right.
So that means I
This
gotta
is
go
David.
first.
You can go first. Yeah.
Oh, goody! I was joking on that going first thing. Well, I will give my the best, then I'll give the worst one I see up there, and then I'll talk about one in the middle. Okay. The best one I see up there is truthfully the one it seems to be one to see something happen in the right way would be April Jackson. Okay, I feel that she's connected with her community. She's connected with her district. She spends a lot of time out there, and a lot of politicians, majority of politicians, ignore the homeless because they don't vote. Well, that's not what April does. So I've got to give her a big thumbs up. And I see her standing up against the other ones, and when it comes to certain things that she sees as like no-brainers, like with this whole media, specialist. She does all her own work. You can go on April Jackson's page. You can see what's going on. No, she may not have the PAC 14 quality, but she gets the point across. Now, as far as the worst on there, and again, I'm not saying that person is a bad person, but I don't see them doing anything positive. It's kind of I ain't gonna lie to you, there's kind of two of them. So I'm gonna say it's a tie between Angela Blake and Michelle Gregory. Reason why I'm gonna say this is I haven't seen them do anything positive. I've seen them argue. I've seen them be pretty much this whatever the mayor say, try to get a little louder than he is. I just haven't seen anything positive happening. I've actually know there's a person that has another show here about PAC 14 and had one of them actually go on their TikTok page and make fun of their child. So I can't say that's something becoming of a leader at all. Now, the one that, and I've talked to my buddies here about this, the one I'm kind of concerned with, I just think that he may be, or a whole lot over his head, would be Deshaun Doughty. I believe that the young man went in there with the right intentions, but he started listening to the wrong voices, maybe those two that I just named. And I really think that if he's going to get back on track, he needs to start like yesterday and start making decisions for himself and stop buying all that swag on the city's card. That's not good, man. You get a paycheck for that. Okay.
There'll be a Salisbury Independent article coming about that soon. But,
good advertisement there.
Okay?
Okay?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So
okay,
who else want to give him? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of a grading. Okay. I think I'm actually going to have to agree with David on the first point. I think that April, and I've only been to a couple. It's been only a couple weeks that I've been going to city council meetings, but from all the people I've seen, I think April Jackson has been the biggest fighter for common sense, for policies that are actually in the best interest of Salisbury residents. I haven't been to any of her town halls, but I hear that she hosts them and that she actually is transparent with her constituents. She does them herself. Yeah. She doesn't at the last council meeting when I think she was one of the first people that kind of articulated a stance against the media specialist thing and kind of just told the other people, well, we can do social media on our own. We can do town councils, city councils on our own, things like that. So I definitely think that she is the best one on there. Now for the second one, I don't want to be rude or ignorant to anyone. That's not my intention or whatever. I'd have to say, in regards to worst job, I'm going to have to say Deshaun Doughty. And the main reason I'm saying that is because he is the president of the council. He's the leader. He's the one that's supposed to be leading it in a positive, in a good direction. And it just doesn't seem to be proceeding in a good direction at all. From what I've seen, from what I've heard from people, it seems like there is a considerable lack of transparency, which everyone on this panel right now has been talking about today. And that has to be attributed to the leadership at the end of the day. There's been a lot of contention between the city government leadership and city administration between Randy Taylor and the city council president. I think that's also attributable to Deshaun. David here, I know you were saying that you think that there's a little bit of puppeteering going on in regards to...
A lot of puppeteering.
A lot of puppeteering. It's possible, but I think that a lot of the decisions that he's making are on his own behest and kind of decision making, whatever it might be. So that's my opinion for the best and the worst from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
Who'd like to go next?
Michael can go.
Okay. So yeah, we're echoing a lot of sentiments. So my best is April Jackson, because whether you like what she's saying or not, you know what her thoughts are on the thing. She is communicating with people. She is connected, like you said, to the community, and she's, I feel like that's again, it's not about whether or not you always agree with the person. It's about whether or not they're doing what they said they would do.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And so judging her by that metric, I feel like, being someone who's paid attention closely for a couple of years, but, just generally have had my ear to the ground for 10 years looking at people in the city. April's there. April's in the community. Like, it's undeniable. My worst, probably echoing your sentiments, Colin, Deshaun, because, I think that inexperience leads to a certain level of incompetence, and then when people are insecure and they overcompensate for that, then it leads to kind of the contention with the mayor, which there shouldn't be any of that, especially one of the things that's so hard. If you look at the pay, council is part-time. It is wild to me that, like, these people are overstepping their bounds in the way that they're supposed to represent and serve. They're part-time. Randy's full-time. The mayor is full-time. This is a person who's essential, right, to the operation of the city. The council, you people are literally expendable. It can be anybody else in those seats, and you're part-time. You're not required in order to get the trash picked up proverbially. If I see something that's broken in my neighborhood when I'm walking, Deshaun is not the person that I contact if I want to get something done about it. It would be the mayor. It would be Randy, right? And as far as my personal experiences of correspondence, it's like I'm getting a lot more. Deshaun has sat down with me, to his credit, but nothing much came out of that. I felt like it was very much a handshake and a nod, but it didn't lead to anything. Right? The conversation, especially when talking points, people don't mean what they say. Things are just, polemical points that politicians make. I think that's the issue. So I think that he, that along with his ambition, coupled to make a really toxic potential situation where he is overstepping his bounds frequently with that role and trying to see how far we can take that, but it's a part-time position.
That's a good point. Great point.
So April will get a 4 out of 4 here. April, again, for campaigning on standing on business, April would be that. She goes in the community. She has projects. She does not, the nonprofit work sector. She does it for the homeless, for the youth, for the elderly, for Christmas. So I know of the work that she definitely puts in, boots on the ground in her community to make things happen. So she's not just sitting at the council meetings talking. She goes out and puts in the work and does the actions behind it, and always has. I have to give her that credit.
It's real.
I think I won't continue to down Deshaun because he's gotten beat up enough. But I could echo the same things and sentiments. But I'm going to choose someone different just because he's already been knocked twice. But I'm gonna choose Angela Blake. I think at times she's quiet and she doesn't do enough in her community as far as being seen when it comes to all constituents. You have to make sure that representation is key. And sometimes we allow people to slide through the cracks just because they are quiet. But when you campaign on certain things, you have to stick to the campaign. You have to do what you said you were going to do. And I can't say that I see many of them out in the community because I'm out in the community. But I don't see them in their districts doing the work. Right? Yeah, you might be a phone call away if there's a problem, but what are you going out in your district being proactive for? You can't always just be reactive in those positions. You have to be a proactive person. So getting feet in your community, knocking on doors when it's not just election time to find out if people are okay. Is everything all right in your community? What's going on with your landlord? These things aren't done by several people. But I just don't want some to fall through the cracks and not be spoken upon today.
And I've actually seen where when one of them shows up, the other one does. When Michelle Gregory shows up to something, so does Angela Blake. Now the question is what they show up to. Is it a photo op? I remember we were talking earlier. The only one that should be going at the photo op should be who?
Mr. Taylor.
Mr.
mayor.
Taylor, who
he's the figurehead of the city.
exactly
I think a
full
lot of
time.
times other people who have craved power for their position show up, and they are presenting things that the mayor should be presenting, and they're saying speeches that the mayor should be saying, and getting time and things of that nature. So I've seen it a couple times at events that I've been to. One time they even brought Jake Day back to be the speaker. We have a mayor. Not the former mayor.
Wow.
We don't need the former mayor to be the speaker when we have a mayor.
Well, it's in Mirrors County.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where, I was blown away that Mayor Taylor wasn't the first to give a speech. Even if we're going to bring back the former mayor, Mayor Taylor should speak first. He's our current mayor.
There you go.
So no one should speak before he speaks.
And I did just say a few seconds ago, it kind of mirrors the county. I think that, just my thought, I think if you didn't call the council leader the president on either level, you wouldn't have much problems. Maybe like in Congress, what do you have, the Speaker of the House?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when you have someone like you have an executive, you have a mayor, then you call someone else in the legislative part the president, it sets the wrong thought because they're actually in charge of everybody else of a group.
Right.
So I'm wondering, and that's one of the things that my concern is should they rename call him maybe the Speaker of the Council?
I like that idea, though.
That's
very true. True to the role and the duties of that position.
Exactly. It's all mindset.
It's not actually. He's not the president. Like he's not the president. Like the president of the country is our president. He's not an executive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, before because I know we definitely want to try to keep it. As we know, Jermichael actually has to be at a event a little bit, right?
Yeah. So we have a meeting for a grant that we put out in the community, and it's several nonprofits who have received the grant. So this Saturday, they'll be doing an event downtown to display those nonprofits.
Well, I appreciate how you stay definitely in the community. So we want to
maybe we could just instead of, because this might take a little bit longer, we could just say if
let's
one
just give
person,
a grade.
If one person just a grade.
Just a grade on them.
How about what if we did a grade on like the total city council?
We already did. We did that on our last Chopping It Up. It got me in trouble with my aunt. So I'm going to break them down. I mean, you know my aunt. So I'm going to break them down to, we're going to do this real fast, but we're going to go through the 5 council members on the city, and we're just going to go real quickly and give them a grade. We're going to start with...
Okay, yeah, I'll start. Sharon DeShiel.
Sharon DeShiel.
Don't really know too much.
She's the one Republican on the whole group.
Yes. I'll give her like a B because I don't really know too much about her, what she does. Michelle Gregory, I will give Michelle a D-. April Jackson, I will give a A+. Deshaun Doughty, I will give a D- as well. Angela Blake, I will also give a D-.
Okay, so there you go. So there's your 5. What do you think?
All right, Sharon, I would give a B. I think Michelle Gregory, I'm very similar to you. I'm like, I'm feeling that Michelle, I'm not really quite, she's been there a very long time without making a contribution. I'd say, honestly, an E. I mean, I don't know what community endeavors she's led up or spearheaded, and she's been there long enough to make a difference. April, I'd give it A. We went over why. Deshaun, super ambitious. I'm going to give him an E. I mean, I just think it's terrible precedent. I think that inexperience is really costing us, the public. And Angela, I actually live in District 5. There's never been anything for District 5 and the people in there. It's a lot of apartment complexes, right, in my district. And there's just a lot of underrepresented, underserved people in my district. So her, again, she's been there long enough. A lot of these people were appointed, by the way. If you look up their history and how they initially they were not initially elected to those positions. They were appointed.
Wow.
Because of a vacancy, and then they had like an incumbent advantage when election time came. So people were more, Deshaun is that way, Angela was that way. I'm not sure about Gregory, but that's a typical maneuver. So yeah, I would say that a lot of those people are doing really terrible. The people have been.
So
there
you
for
give
a while.
Angela a what?
E.
An E.
Yeah.
But this is even worse than our last one for the city, y'all. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and first with Sharon DeShiel. We got a chance to talk to her on the elevator. I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, I wasn't quite sure how I felt about her. I did hear her question some things at the last meeting, which was a big thumbs up. I'm going to give her a C+. I still need to see more. It's hard to get an A out of me, trust me. Michelle Gregory, I'm going to give her an E. I've never given anybody an E. Y'all give me E's out today, so I'm going to go ahead and just give what I need to give her. My reason why is because, I mean, I haven't really seen anything except for who she's lobbying for. The question is, has she done anything for the whole city, or has it just been for a certain group. April Jackson, again, I'm going to give her a B. And the only reason, like I said, I don't give everybody an A because we all have room for, growth. But one thing I have to say about April is she's out there. I'm going to give her a B+. She's out there. She will listen. I'm not going to say her and Mayor always gets along, but at least she will talk to him and work with him and not just say, off with his head. Deshaun, I'm going to give him a D+. And that was a D+. I'm going to tell you why. I still think the young man hasn't got bad leadership as far as people have been talking to him and encouraging him and saying you're doing a great job, and really he needs to start from day one and build a reputation or build a reputation on being himself and not being a figurehead that's being pushed around by other people. So he gets a D+. Angela Blake, well, E. I'm just going to say I've heard her be disrespectful towards the mayor. I heard her even get smart with a couple of people out there in the audience. I know some of the constituents in her area. I have not heard anything positive about her, and this probably means she'll never come on Bridging the Gap. But I've actually encouraged a couple of people, if they can, to run. Yes, I do try to encourage people, and I think we have a good young man that's thinking about doing so. But I'll leave it up to him to say who he is because he might be up here now. So those are going to be my grades. Jermichael?
Sharon DeShields gets a B from me. She's been consistent with who she said she was. She doesn't get out in the community and do much, but she has been consistent on her campaign. The things that she said were important to her, she's been consistent. She's been consistent in her vote, what she's voted upon and what she hasn't voted with. She's been just consistent. Like I said, consistency is key for me. So I know who she is, if that makes sense. Through her vote and through her conversation, I know exactly who she is. Michelle Gregory, again, for as long as she has been a part of the council, I can't specifically think of anything impactful that she's done for her community or her district. Again, I know the fight with her having a son who has the issues that he has. She has fought for some handicap things before. But while she's had that position of power, I can't think of anything impactful. So I'll also give her a D-. I won't go as bad as you guys with the E's.
Very encouraging.
April Jackson, she'll get a B+ from me. I know that she puts in the work. Everyone has room for growth. But again, I know she puts in the work. She's boots on the ground in our community. I know the things that she stands up when she feels something isn't right. They didn't put Michael in a position that he should have been put in on one of the committees that no one wants to even sit in. She spoke up about that because it was more personal than it was political. So those are things that she does speak up when she feels things are wrong. Deshaun Dowdy, again, I like Deshaun. He probably doesn't think I like him, but I like you, Deshaun. One of the key things, though, again, is I feel like he's getting the wrong counsel. I told you who I think is in his ear, and I know I've seen that blueprint before. Someone else became the first time on the council. When they came on the council, they were young, and when they were on the council, as soon as they got there, they were the president. Then from there, they ran for other things later on. So I've seen the blueprint before, and I just believe he has the wrong counsel in his ear. Could he do a lot better? Yes, he could. So I'll also give him a D-. And then Angela Blake, again, same as Michelle. She's been on the council now for a while. I can't tell you anything impactful she's done in her community. So she also gets a D- from me as well.
Okay. So for all those that watched our last Chopping It Up and y'all wonder why we gave them such a low grade, look, there are people on there that are doing things. April Jackson, as you've seen here, I think collectively we gave her pretty much a B+, if not an A-. But the problem is it takes more than just one. On a council of 5 people, you need at least 3 people to push things through. And I just don't see, I see literally, if you look at the how the city councilors are all, they're all sitting there, that's just how they all vote. The 2 in the corner, they vote together. The one is in the middle, he's literally in the middle, but he's swaying that direction. And then the other 2, when talking about April Jackson and Sharon DeShields, they seem to stick together. So,
Seems that way for sure.
So that's what it seems like. Anything?
Yeah, I think it was a good review overall. And I think we can wrap it up and do a little outro.
This has been the Chopping It Up again. And again, like I said, we do this because we're concerned about community. Each one of these young men up here right now, they're concerned about the community. There's some way, shape, or form. We got people who are either like bikers, like I like to walk, I like to ride my bike. You know, we're out and about. You've got the young man here is in college, and he's going to be he's part of the change that's going to happen. We got a young man here that should have been elected because he loves the community. So what we're doing now when we're getting here together is we're talking about what needs to go in a direction that's going to be more community. So we do appreciate you all tuning in to Bridging the Gap. Jermichael, Michael, do you have anything I got the Michaels here. Jermichael and Michael.
My biggest thing, man, is just for anyone out there, man, you know, don't take these things personal. They're just our opinions and our opinions of others. But everybody has room for growth. So if you feel that you can do, we all feel you can do more. So just step up to the plate and do more. That's the biggest piece.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to values, you know, how people serve. I think we're seeing a lack of that, lack of transparency, lack of integrity, lack of a consistency. I think that's like the summary of our concerns. And so people might, I think the thing is that I really believe everybody can make a meaningful contribution, you know, and so like Jermichael said, I just want to see more from some of these people. I will say, I don't want to miss this person out. Sharon DeShiel, I believe, is instrumental in working with the Hearts and Hands cold weather shelter. So she also helps with like the homeless community, which is something also key and important to me.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, so I mean, she's definitely someone that's active and has spoken to that. So I want us to be, you know, we're trying to be fair. But again, like Jermichael said, this is just all, you know, personal opinion. It's not really about that. We all just want to see the best result for the community that we can get.
Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you all for watching, and tune in for next episode.
Hello, everyone. David James, city resident. I want to actually say a couple things. One thing I want to say is that, Mr. Doughty, you could do a good job if you don't allow everybody else to tell you what to do. Okay? I don't know if it's the former mayor or other council people, but think for yourself, take it from today on, and you can be somebody, I promise you. All right, the other thing I want to say is that I want to speak for Pastor Craig Mitchell, who did a vigil about a year ago when someone got shot. And, you know, I wish that Council Lady Jackson was still here. We were able to do it over at Unity Square. Well, he came to me since then, and he's tried to reach out, and now we want to charge him $500. I don't think that Unity Square there should be a charge for someone trying to reach the community through prayer vigils or working with the homeless. I understand you got to make your money. I don't know how much we charge people for protests, but when it comes to things like that, let's consider not charging people $500 to do a prayer vigil. You know? We've got to really just start thinking about, are we really serving the community? Council Leader Jackson, I want to once again thank you for everything you do. You're doing a whole lot of good. I was talking with a group of friends of mine a few minutes ago, and we actually sat there and evaluated every one of your peers, and you seem to be the one, and Miss Sharon, you're doing a great job too, but you seem to be taking the leadership role. Awesome. Get with Council President Doughty. Listen to her more. I don't know who across the bridge is talking to you, brother, but they're not backing you up when you're getting bombarded by everybody else. I'm praying for you though, okay? Seriously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve resolution number 3413.
So moved.
Second.
Resolution number 3413 to establish and adopt a road program.
Any questions or discussion from the council?
Yes, I have a question, if I may. I think this is a great idea. I'm not sure why we need a resolution. Is this an outgrowth of a meeting between, I think, this gentleman, correct? Adopt a Road and the mayor's office? I think they were getting together to work on this and come up with a plan. Is this a result of that?
Yes, and with city staff as well, yes.
Okay. I'm just curious, because the first I knew about it was when we got it in the agenda, as far as any background on it. That's all.
Same with every other item here. It's just an item that more details will follow soon, but it is just to resolve it so that this could be done.
I'm not picking, but how are we supposed to adopt something if we don't know what we're adopting? I mean, if we don't, I understand what you're saying, But we need to know the gist of this. I mean, I'm not being smart. I'm just being straightforward.
Wasn't it laid out to us by city staff that came forward and gave us an idea of it?
I don't
They
remember.
talk about it?
I don't remember.
They talk
We
about
had it
it?
at the council meeting.
I don't remember.
Andy, do you have any information that could help us with this? I thought this had been,
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it, but I think that we should have more detail about what it's all about. Because when people see these things, even on the agendas, they ask us, we don't have an answer for them. I mean, I know it's simple to explain you're adopting a road, but what entails it is what we need to know. That's the only thing I'm asking myself, that we need to know what's entailed in this. So when we come, our constituents call us, whatever, or we're walking down and they say, oh, you're going to adopt a road program now? So what's that all about? We need to know something about it. Not just,
that's it.
it's being established, it's true, but give us some headway. Let us know something about it. Just don't leave us in the dark.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the resolution myself, and I know you guys had been meeting, and I think it's a great concept, but I hadn't.
I don't
seen
have a problem with it.
I hadn't seen the resolution myself, so yeah. Had you seen?
I knew members of council were meeting with members of our team to put together what would be a program. Again, it still needs to be fleshed out. This is just saying that we can move forward with the program.
Yeah.
There's a few more hurdles to go through.
Yeah, that's what resolutions
Is there a
are.
draft at this point?
What
No.
members were they?
I'm asking. I don't-
What members were they that were asked to come?
This is similar.
Staff?
Yes, the Department of Infrastructure and Development.
Correct.
Yes.
And he said council.
Yes.
Did he just not say council? So what members of the councils were asked to come? To me, my thing is, I'm so tired of being left in the dark with things.
This is the same as the banner project and there are
No,
plenty
it's
of.
not. No, it's not, because when I came with that banner program, I came with everything that I could come with. I didn't leave anybody in the blind. I even brought the veterans here, so I didn't leave anybody in the blind. I came here with how it was supposed to be and what we wanted. I left it up to, Lord, I can't even think his name, Alan, and whomever was in the Arts Committee, on the Arts, to help with the programming. And then the next thing I know, it was actually, to me, I believe, given to the county. County ran, but the city is doing it. So I'm just saying, when we do something, just make sure everybody knows what's going on. Just make sure. And you can't say that I didn't say anything to you all about the banners. I asked you. I went to you, different ones, and talked to you about the banner program. How would you like to have that? And then when I came back with the information.
Just to add to what Councilwoman Jackson was saying, we had not discussed this. This seems to be a recurring issue where Councilwoman Jackson and myself are left out of decisions that are made by our president in collaboration with maybe the vice president and Ms. Gray. I'm not accusing, I'm just saying, I'm not sure who's running this council. It is not a one-man show or a one-person show. And April has brought it up again. This happens too often. If you don't want us on the council, then talk to the people that elected us. But keeping us in the dark is unacceptable.
So
President Dowd.
So I will, and this is, I don't want to deviate from this item because this is holistically not the discussion I think that this item deserves, but how would you like me to discuss? I mean, it's, I equally feel as left out, but I mean, there's items, but I don't.
May I?
Never mind.
May I?
No, I'm going to say this. Nobody said the program was bad.
No, it's a great idea.
No, it's a great idea. We just need to know more about it. Because when you put something on an agenda, people do look at these agendas online, and they see them, and then they ask questions. So we need to be able to be forthcoming. Not just like, oh, well, I'm stuck. It's been plenty of times, and just not in this tenure of the council, where we have been left in the blind and didn't know what was going on. I'm not saying it just started here. It started before, but we're talking about transparency.
Yes.
Let's be transparent.
And bring it in open session and discuss the items open session and not behind closed doors holistically, which is why, again, there are no details published yet because we were just to discuss it here is idea from the public, let you all know, and we discuss it of what is it we would like. But I mean, I'll bring up an option of, or the communities, and I knew exactly nothing about that before it was brought to me at budget. I knew nothing about that.
About what?
The West Side Community Center or the potential thereof.
You're sitting right here telling a lie. You sitting right here telling a lie because I came to you and told you and asked you to come to the thing. And wait a minute,
I like to get back on track.
And I said to you,
President Dowdy, I like to get back on track and
no,
use
wait
the
a minute.
agenda.
Well, let me finish what I'm getting ready to say, like you do everybody else.
Okay,
Let me finish my statement. I came to you and told you, and you said, "Oh no, that's your baby."
And then nothing.
And
Nothing
didn't
else
come.
was.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
President Dowdy, I'd like to speak on the topic of the
Go back.
resolution 3413, adopt a road program. I didn't have a meeting either, so I don't know I get that piece. But what I do know is from my understanding historically, help me out, legal, please, is we had not one but two presentations from the man who presented it and outlined what the program would be like. That helped get it into if the city was interested in doing it or not and moving forward. Then we had city staff just think about if they wanted to do it and they thought it was a good idea. And I think one night when they were talking about the tree program, I could be wrong with tree program, planting all the trees, and we also talked about it in a collaboration that could be something like even tag teaming on the green team combination. Is that correct? Okay. So a resolution is not necessarily saying like, oh, A starts here, B starts here, C starts here. It says this is an idea. The city resolves the fact that this is a program that we are going to adopt. Just like if we set forth like a community center, we don't have all of the plans and details about that, but we certainly wanted to adopt it in knowing that the plans, the details, the contracts and stuff were going to be forthcoming. It's the same concept that we're talking about it in here. Now, now, if I have a question about when the agenda comes to council, now help me out, legal, if I'm not saying this right, when things come to council, we get an email, and I read it. I spend a lot of time reading it, and it usually takes me between 3, maybe 4 hours in over a 2-day period to read everything in the packet. I actually read the packet. Now, if I have any questions, the first thing I do is I pick up the phone, and I'm calling somebody. I'm on the phone to Andy. What's this about? I'm on the phone to Deshaun. So when I don't know, which can be a lot, and I ask before I get here. So therefore, if anyone asks me in the community, I know. So sometimes when things come forward to us, like either adopt a road program, we've heard of the concept, we've heard of the idea, we've heard of the programming, we may not have all the infrastructure, but this is just an idea of setting it forward to this is where we want to head. The same premise with a youth center, which we think it's a good idea. We approved money for it, but we don't have a contract. We didn't have an outline of the programming, but we certainly do want to we definitely think it's a good idea to move it forward.